So it's now agreed by the majority of scholars who are experts in this area that almost immediately after Jesus' crucifixion, there were many people who were utterly convinced that they had spent time with Jesus after his death. And even the threat of torture and murder could not get them to change their minds. Pliny the Younger, he was a Roman governor in the 1st century. He was persecuting that first generation of Christians, and here's something that he wrote.
This is all true.
I ask them if they are Christians, and if they admit it, I repeat the question a second and a third time with a warning of the punishment awaiting them. If they persist, I order them to be led away for execution. Those who walked this earth with Jesus went from mourning the fact that their leaders seemed to have been defeated. Many of them were too scared to even be present at his crucifixion, to then accepting their own torture and deaths by execution rather than deny that Jesus was God. And all they had to do was deny it in word. All they had to do was say, fine, I'm not a Christian, and then go home and continue to worship Jesus in private. But even for their lives,
these are not only people
they could not
who
deny him.
knew
To
Jesus.
that extent were they convinced that Jesus was the
This
God
could be me
that
or
he
you
claimed
today.
to be. What can account for this? How could every one of them be so utterly convinced that this dead man on a cross was actually worth dying for? It doesn't add up. Something happened. The bare facts of history demand that something extraordinary happened. The Christian response is the miraculous resurrection of Jesus Christ. If someone doesn't want to accept that explanation, then we can remind them that criticism without alternative is empty. If Jesus didn't actually rise, what are the alternative explanations? Could Jesus' resurrection have developed as a legend over time? No. No one takes that theory seriously anymore. Studies show that it takes about 3
This is the
generations
truth.
for a significant amount of legendary development to make its way into a text. And as we've seen, the experts believe that this passage, which already claims the divinity and the appearances and the resurrection of Jesus, was already in its current form within just months of when the events actually took place. There was no time for legends to develop. Could it have been a hallucination? I think the answer is no.